Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. For this video today, we're going to be going over how do I find my art style, right? And this is something that I once asked myself when I started my art journey as well. And I think it's much easier for me to answer this question when I actually take a step back and have a look at the past few years of my journey and my experience, and to come up with an answer and just talk about what I think are the best ways to find your art style based on the steps that I took over the last few years. Okay, so this video is going to be talking about what I think is some ways that you can find your art style, some things to avoid so you don't stay stagnant and you don't feel trapped, because at the end of the day your own art style is based on you, yourself only, and it's your own experiences, it's what you like, it's what you find interesting, and what you're drawn to as an artist, right? So we're going to be going over a few things and talking about it, and hopefully by the end of the video you'll be able to have some ideas or some processes or some thought processes that you can take with you, and for me it's all about just taking away some of that pressure in finding your art style. Okay, so let's get onto it, and we'll move on to the first part. So as you can see here, I've got a few artworks on display, and it's basically artworks that I've done over the years, from 2020 through to 2025, basically as of recent, right? And we're going to talk about finding versus developing your art style, okay? Now, personally, I'm not a believer of finding your art style, and I'm also sure that a lot of people, when they say finding your art style, they also mean, exploring and experiencing to come to that art style, right? But essentially, I want to separate the two words. Finding is something that feels to me like it just comes, right? It just comes to you out of nowhere, out of thin air, just magically appears. And I don't believe in that. I'm definitely more of like a believer in developing, because as you get, as you create, as you experience more, as you become more experienced, your techniques start developing, your processes start developing, your thinking starts developing, right? And so over time, as you continue to create, your art style starts to develop, right? We all have an art style already. From day one, you have an art style, right? It's the way you think, it's the way you kind of sketch, it's the way your ideas work, it's the way your ideas come, right? That's an art style as well. An art style is like an umbrella that carries so many attributes and little things within you as an artist, right? So art style isn't just what you see. I mean, to the audience, it's what they see. However, art style is a lot behind the scenes as well. It's like I said, it's from the way you design, the way you think, your personal taste as an artist, right? The way you select your colors, the way you do anything to create that piece of art, right? And so I firmly believe that being able to continue creating and to create more is basically the essential process in developing your art style. Your art style is never going to be set and done, right? As you create, as you become more experienced from years and years and years to come, your art style will continue to change. Like I said, art style is more of a process. Art style is simply an umbrella that holds everything about you as an artist, okay? And as you can see here, going from 2020 to 2025 on my artworks, you can still see the way, the prominent shapes within my artworks. You can still get a feel of, I guess, the core elements of who I am, like bold shapes, the colors, and it just becomes more detailed over time, right? Now, in 2026, 2027, 2028, my art style will change once again, I'm sure of it. And it will be ever so slightly, and it's not usually until you take away the years in between and you compare the first 5 years ago till now, you'll start to see a drastic change and difference. But if you're going to look at it from a year to year, you will see little changes continue to pile on as each year comes by, and you're not going to be able to notice too much. It's usually when you take away the years in between and you compare your today's artwork to 5 years ago, you'll start to see more of a difference. And it's quite fun. It's quite fun to look back and have a look at what you've done, and to see where you've become now, right? So developing, it's development, right? So going from, if you're looking at year by year, you'll see it developing, right? It's not just simply found. It's simply something that I was already attracted to, such as the shapes, the colors, compositions, and all that type of stuff, right? So as you can see, each year the art style develop, right? It basically develops and to what it is today, right? So it's really important for me, I think it's really important to kind of separate that out and just know that development comes in the doing. The more you do, the faster you develop, basically. Okay, now let's move on. All right, now for the myth of finding your style. Right, now personally, I think that style isn't an object that you just suddenly stumble upon by chance, right? It's all part of the process. And in this case, it's the process of you being an artist, okay? And it's really important that, you need to experiment and explore before you truly find out what it is that you like and enjoy doing as an artist, right? So, a bit of an example that I thought about, handwriting, right? It's, to get from this messy handwriting to something refined and perhaps even artistic typography. It comes with years and years of experience to be able to do that, right? So that in itself is a form of development. I see that as growth and development and just practice, right? And just like my artworks here, just from like 5 years ago, I've created this artwork on the left here, and then compare it to today's artwork. A lot of this is just development. The style, honestly, for me, I think the style it just comes down to your soul as an artist, right? It all comes down to what, a combination of everything that you like and enjoy and find fascinating and interesting that kind of projects out into a visual form, right? So, don't feel like, I want to do something like this, and then you avoid everything else. And on the next slide, I'll show you why. When you're just starting out, even if you're experienced, right? It's not just if you're starting out, but more so if you're starting out. Never, I guess, stick to one thing. Play around with a whole bunch. Like if you haven't tried something yet, try that. And at least if you don't like it, you can 100% confirm to yourself that you've tried it, you don't like it, sweet, move on, right? But what if something that you haven't tried becomes is actually that most important part that actually helps you develop something even more beautiful or even more bigger, something more important within your journey as an artist, right? So it's always important to explore and experiment before you kind of hunk down on one thing and be like, okay, I want to be doing this, because you're not, at the end of the day, you're never going to really do something for the rest of your life, like the same thing for the rest of your life. It's always going to change. It's always going to develop, right? Your taste will change as you get older, as you become more experienced, and everything will kind of play a part in your art. It will show through, right? So we're going to move on to the next one. The importance of experimenting. Okay, now here's some examples from 2016. It's almost 10 years ago, guys. Now this was like probably my first couple of years of I guess truly digital painting, just really getting into it. And if you look at these artworks here, they're very almost like, especially the bottom two, they're very like matte paintings, right? They're very textured, very high detailed, almost realistic, right? Now this was something that I enjoyed at the time, right? I really enjoyed it. It was fun, and it lasted a good year or two, or even 3 years. I did a lot of these highly detailed renders for a few years, and at the time I really enjoyed it. And then I started, I guess, wanting to simplify it. I kind of got bored of just kind of adding in heaps of textures and heaps of details, right? And then as I was starting to get more into anime and I was watching more anime stuff, and I really loved the simplicity of how backgrounds could be, then I started kind of branching out a little bit, trying it out, and around this time in 2019 to 2020, I really enjoyed the process. I really enjoyed the simplicity of things while still capturing the majority of the shapes, right? So shapes is something that I still really loved, that carried over. However, I was simply just simplifying the overall look of my artwork. And then fast forward 5 years later till today, you can start to see a lot of the more detailed kind of, from 2016 kind of coming back in, right? And the thing is, because I always knew how to add these details, I was starting to add in just the right amount that I thought was the right amount to my artworks today. And so I still have that simplistic feel, I still have the colors, but I'm starting to add more details in, like what I did back in 2016. So it's really important to explore and experiment, because you never know. I would have never known that 10 years later, today, I would be incorporating more details into my artworks, right? So having that understanding of what I did 10 years ago, 9 to 10 years ago, I was able to apply that and find a good balance between the simplicity of my artworks and the detailed form of the artworks, right? So kind of finding that balance. So it's really important to just, never say no, give things a go, because like in my case, 10 years down the track, it might come in handy. So once again, guys, continue experimenting, never say no until you've tried it. Right now, there's a lot of things that I've tried and I'm like, okay, I've tried it now. I can confirm and reassure myself that I don't like it. I don't have to think about it anymore, and I'll just happily move on. Okay. So, style is a reflection of you. It's a reflection of you as an artist, and it's a reflection of you as a person. So it's really important to, and I really want to tell you guys that there is absolutely no right or wrong to an art style, right? And at the end of the day, it is a matter of what you yourself personally likes or don't like. It's everything that embodies you, right? So an art style should be your voice. It's your voice. It's your everything, from your life experiences and from everything you've heard, listened to, seen, felt, smelt, everything. An art style is unique in that way because it's you, right? No one's going to be able to feel the same thing, exact 100% way that you feel, as an artist, as a human being, right? So it's really important that you kind of trust yourself, listen to yourself, and create your own work that's true to you, right? Now, like as you can see here, as of recent, based on the compositions, based on the style of my work, the way I create, the way I render is still very similar to what it is 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right? The color choices, same things. It's the way you choose colors, the way you choose to design things, but more recently, for example, a lot of my artworks are very heavily kind of like poster-based storytelling, right? And, it's just how it's gotten to at this point. Maybe in 3 years' time it'll change again, and that's totally fine. I'm open to all that, right? It's a matter of what you experienced, what you are currently interested in today, and you just follow that. You follow your heart, you follow your soul, and that basically gives you the answer on what to create. Just create whatever you want. It's not about what others want you to create. It's not about what you think is going to do well online. It's just if you do what you truly believe is you, your art will find its people. Okay, because it's the passion, love, those things, they attract people. Okay, so don't focus on anything else. Ignore the noise. Just create what's true to you. Create what's a representation of you. You're an artist. You're creating the art. What show us you, right? So yeah, so that's what I think an art style is. It's from everything beyond the end product. It's everything beyond the final JPEG that you see or what you post online. Okay. Now, to give an indication of what impacted my direction of style to what it is today, well, in the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity to work with, clients such as 20th Century Studios, Disney, Pixar, MiHoYo, and all those, and a few more. But we're going to focus on these. And essentially, my job was to create promotional artworks / posters for the games or for the films, right? And from here, I had to really think about, as a designer, I had to really think about things that I was going to add into the artwork that would give hints, and connect the story together, and to capture a mood in what this film or game is about, right? And then from doing this, I was able to really think about the elements within the film or IP, the game. Think about all the elements within that world, and start incorporating them in and compositionally making it work together and cohesively, and color-wise, especially color to capture that mood. And it was during these projects that I was like, damn, like I'm finding these posters really fun, because I get to add in bits here, bits there. I get to think about little things as well as the overall. And does everything in here capture the essence or the feel of the film or the game, right? So I think from these projects that I worked on, I think that's where I found another love for what I was doing, that kind of turned into what I do today with my personal work, right? So, you never know, right? Opportunities could be the reason you create what you create today, right? So, it's all about just saying yes. It's all about just, trying things, exploring, experimenting, taking opportunities, taking these chances, and just doing it. And you might feel something, like what happened to me here. Like, I can't say I'll be doing the same thing 3 years later. I might not. But it's fine, that's the journey, right? So, try different things, try a whole bunch of different things, and you'll be surprised where it might take you, okay? Now, just a couple of, short and sweet kind of reminders for you guys. Style should be a side effect, not a goal, right? So essentially what that means is, there's not an actual goal that you can envision. Right, you never know what your art style could look like. You can't find it, right? You can't find it. You got to let it naturally develop. You got to develop it, and you're not going to develop it by just sitting there. You're going to develop it by constantly working hard. Create new work. Try all sorts of different things, right? To get to this, to get to even the process of development. Right, and your whole entire journey as an artist will be developing. It'll be growth, and it's just always going to be changing, and that's the beauty of it, right? So treat your art style as it's a side effect of everything you've experienced, everything that you've been through, basically. Okay, so don't chase it. You're not going to find it. You're going to develop it, and it's going to be it's always going to take a different path as you experience new things and different things in life. Okay. Now, obviously, there's going to be artworks, there's going to be artists, there's going to be things that you see online that will also, affect the way you do things, and that's totally fine. That's part of exploring. That's part of experimenting. Once you start incorporating little bits here and there from other artists or other things you see into your own work, right? It becomes a pool of, change and difference. Okay, and it's totally fine. All right. And then, another one, let your style develop naturally. Okay, so just let it happen. You just got to let it happen, but you just create and create and create, and what you truly love and your heart desires to create will come out. Okay, so some of the things here, some bullet points regarding letting your style develop naturally, is to ignore the noise. Ignore the things like likes on social media. Don't look at what's viral, what's not, especially if you're just starting out. Try not to get too hooked onto, what's viral today, right? What you can do, however, is you can look at, the way you showcase your art, and what makes it viral. The way maybe showing step by steps, or showing from 5 years ago to today, little things like that can, that type of trendy and viral content is okay, and that's totally fine, because you're just showcasing your artwork, right? But don't let it alter the way you create, right? You want to really create what your heart desires, okay? Not what social media wants to see, okay? So don't stray off track. Stick to you, stick to your own work, stick to your passion, stick to your love, and stick to your experiences. Okay, so which brings us to be real with yourself and your identity as an artist, because that's what's going to make the point of difference, amongst this huge community of art and artists in the world, right? So it's going to be really important for you to kind of distinguish yourself in what you love, and to have your own identity as an artist. Okay. And like I was just saying in the past few minutes, don't be afraid to explore and experiment, and have a look at what makes you personally go wow, and start there, and start looking at things, and incorporating some of those wow factors for yourself, that you can add into your artworks. Okay. And here's just a little reminder for your mindset. Cross out the what is your art style? What is my art style? Don't ask that question. Ask, what do I enjoy making? Create what you enjoy. Create what you're passionate about. The art style will come, right? It will develop over time, and as your techniques become more refined, as your process becomes more refined, your art style will develop. It will show itself more prominently as you become more experienced, right? So maybe you could say, oh yeah, I found my art style. Okay, but it's developed. Right? It doesn't just come out of thin air. It comes from your hard work. It comes from your hours and hours, weeks, months, years of hard work coming through in a visual form. Okay, so just most importantly, follow your enjoyment. Don't worry about what others think it's cool. Don't worry about what other people think you should do. Do what you think you should do, what you enjoy. Okay, so follow your passion, follow your enjoyment, and things will work out. I always believe in life, if you just follow what you personally love and you're true to yourself, it'll work out. Okay, so just think about the what you enjoy making, and things will work out if you're just being true to yourself. That's how I think, I guess, life works in a way. Okay, so in the last part, don't stress, have fun. Learn and explore, ignore the noise, and just be you. Okay, and art style is you, right? Your art style is you, right? You have it today, and it's only going to develop and become more prominent. It's going to become more refined, and that's all there is to it, really. It's simple, but it can be complicated if you overthink, right? So don't stress about it. Just enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the happiness of being able to create. Enjoy your freedom of being able to create, and it'll be something fun that you can look back on, something great that you can look back on, and just be proud of yourself for what you've done and what you've been doing, and what you're going to be doing. Okay, so that's basically my I guess thoughts on finding your art style. No, developing your art style. Okay, not everyone might agree. Other people will have different thoughts, but that's just coming from me. And you can take it if you need. And I hope it helps. But if not, then it's totally fine. There's obviously other ways of thinking about this and going on about your art style. And there's thousands of ways that you can think about it. But this is just something that I've shared from my experience, and what's worked for me. And I hope there's just a bit of information in here that could help you guys, and especially for a lot of the young artists out there, I really don't want you guys to just to stress out over this. I want you guys to be able to create with freedom, to enjoy the process, enjoy the moment, right? Enjoy the moment and just do your best work, right? If you're doing your best today, you can't fault that. You're doing great, right? Because as you continue to do your best and your best and your best, in days to come, weeks to come, months, years, you're going to be able to look back on what you've done and look at what you're doing today and be proud of yourself, right? So don't forget to have fun, guys. This is a learning journey. It'll be a learning journey for the rest of your life, and it will be for me as well. It is for me. I've accepted that, and that's totally cool. I think that's the beauty of it, right? It's always growing. You're never stagnant. You should never allow yourself to be stagnant. Always look for new ways to explore, new ways to improve, and just be the best you. Be the best version of yourself every day. Okay. So yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for more videos, and I'll be posting more process videos and tutorials whenever I can, and more of these helpful videos if you find it helpful, videos for you guys. And yeah, thank you for coming along, guys. So thank you so much, and let me know in the comments what you think, art style is about. Do you think it's finding your art style, or do you also think it's developing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for your support.